The Aerovault trailer is a rather unique piece of equipment because it's built unlike any other trailer. It's built almost like a race car or an airplane in semi-monocoque design. And one of the problems in doing that is that you have to have a lot of very special equipment to do it because you can't bend large pieces of material without special equipment. So before we could even start building trailers, we had to build the equipment to do it. And instead of going out and buying a $400,000 press brake, we went out and found one that was going for scrap metal. And it was only 12 foot long, and we needed to be able to bend 15 feet long. So we used all the machinery at the very end here. This all worked out good. We kept all of these parts at either end and then built complete new center sections to build it. So what we do with this piece of machinery is just take great big sheets of aluminum and we can bend these channel sections in here that you see on the inside of the trailer, which is where the strength comes from. So without that big piece of equipment there, we couldn't build a trailer. So we had to build that to start out with.
Outstanding. And how long did it take you guys to reconfigure this piece of equipment so it would work for you?
Well, we had to find it back east. You had to ship it out here. You know, it weighs several tons.
Right.
And then find all the machinery to cut all this stuff apart. So every bit of that material had to be fabricated, just great big iron chunks and stuff. So I've got to say the fabricators I've got are the bravest guys on earth because that's a huge job to do it.
Well, that's what you were telling me a while ago, is what a great team you have.
Yeah, they are. They're really an incredible bunch of guys.
Well, isn't that, Peter, isn't that the key to any success in any project is the quality of the people and the team?
Well, very much so. And the thing is that they take pride in doing it too because they're doing something that nobody else can do. And it's always a challenge, you know. And so that's why the machinery is all kept super nice and clean and stuff because they take a lot of pride. They build it all.
Okay. Now you started this Aerovault project later in your life. You've had a very, very successful early career. At 20 years old, you were designing the Stingray. Yeah. You designed the Daytona Coupe. You had lots of racing success. You worked with all the biggest names. And so what was it, to start so young, what was it that drove you to do that? And then all these years later, how do you maintain the energy to do all this?
Well, the whole impetus of doing this, I couldn't find anybody in the market to build a trailer the way I wanted to. I went around to all the major trailer manufacturers and said, this is what I want to do. I want to build this aerodynamic trailer, which requires a lot of curved metal. And they said, it's just impossible. We can't do that with the equipment that we've got because it would. So we have a niche market that nobody else can approach because nobody has the equipment to build something like this.
And when you look at this trailer, it looks like it's designed like a sports car.
Yeah.
It's aerodynamic. Yeah. It's tightly constructed, even down to, you were showing me, and I'm gonna look here with the camera. Yeah. The gap between the tailgate and
the floor
is it's like half an inch.
Yeah.
And that's because you designed an internal hinge so that there's not a gap. So when the person is rolling out their car, it doesn't get caught in the gap.
Yeah. Because if you have a gap that big, it falls in, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. If you're trying to push out a, 2,500, 3,000 pound car and it gets caught in there, you can't do that by yourself. It's tough to do. It's no problem getting it in because we winch them in, but the guy has to get the car out of the trailer.
Absolutely.
So it can't be difficult,
And this trailer comes with everything you need. You don't have to go buy a winch. When you buy this trailer, everything's there.
Everything's with it, yeah, because it's all made to work integrally as a package.
And it seems to me, all these years later, you're just as passionate about designing and building this trailer as you were about building the Daytona Coupe.
Well, it's got my name on it, and I take a lot of pride in going out and having people enjoy these trailers. I mean, we have people, if they've had them for a couple of years, they still call me and say, hey, God, I just love driving this trailer. It's such a pleasure to go places because it's not a hassle to get hooked up with this giant rig that weighs 7,000 pounds and you can't move it around. And, this thing is just so mobile. You can park it in your garage if you want.
And production is going to start in a couple of weeks, and you guys plan this first year to roll out a trailer a week.
Trailer a week is what our goal is, yeah.
That sounds great. And up to this point, it hasn't been a problem with people wanting the trailers. It was getting them produced somewhere. And so
Right.
you guys have decided to bring that in-house, and the production is probably going to be a lot more efficient.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So from somebody that started in their 20s racing and designing some of the most famous cars in the world, what would you tell this next generation of kids that are coming up that are thinking about being in the performance industry or the design industry? What message would you give them?
Look for what's needed. You know, there's just all kinds of opportunity out there because there's all kinds of products that people have not yet thought of. So if you've got any idea, no matter what scale, whether it's you're figuring out a better fastening system or building a complete car or whatever it is, you know, if that's what lights your fire, that's what you should do it. And, you know, sometimes it's very frustrating and difficult to do. And, but that's what makes it a lot of fun, is beating those challenges.
So what would you tell these kids about being passionate, about finding something that moves them, that motivates them? What would you tell them in that regard?
Well, I think that my passion came from being around older guys. When I was a kid, I hung around older guys that were building neat cars and stuff. I didn't go play Little League or all of what the rest of the kids were doing. I was going out, hanging out with guys that were building race cars. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, you know.
And so you built and designed cars.
Yeah. So that's all I've ever done since I was 12 years old.
That is so terrific. Thanks for spending the afternoon with
Oh,
us.
I love doing it. Great. Thank